Hello, my name is Jacob Quartro. I'm recording the required video for CST-210 Animal Farm Part 2. Okay, just jumping right into the logic and the rubric quickly. So all we're going to be doing is utilizing polymorphic values in the C++ program and utilizing virtual and pure virtual functions. Cool. So first thing is utilize virtual and pure virtual functions in a software solution, including creating polymorphic values. Cool, so it's pretty simple. First thing that we do is we have our main animal class for this, which we reviewed in the last video, so I'm not going to review everything we already reviewed. But the only changes we've made here is that in our animal class, we have our pure virtual functions. So the pure virtual function is just going to be speak and get pollers and get top weight. The reason that we know these are pure virtual functions is that, first of all, they're not defined in our CPP. And what that just means is that basically these pure virtual functions, when they're used or overridden by a subclass or a child class, they get to just implement not only their own logic, but there was no parent logic to begin with. And then also we represent this here with this. This represents it as a pure virtual, whereas our other virtuals don't have this, and we implement logic within the actual CPP for it. Cool, so ever writing these, we can go here and we can see speak, and we can see speak overridden again, and then we can see speak overridden again. Awesome, cool, so just jumping to the next part of the rubric. Oh, and then at runtime, so yeah. Correct use virtual function and pure virtual function. Oh, correct use of, okay, polymorphism is executed correctly at one time. Oh, okay, that's the same one, my bad. Virtual functions are correctly written, implemented, output is consistent with the assignment. We went over the virtual functions and how they were implemented, but I will just go over their logic in the barn. So this is just where we create it, and obviously I know normally you wouldn't really want to like just fill this random data in a constructor. We could have made a separate method or a text file, but the rubric set it to it like this. And then, cool, so the way we actually just call the logic is that we just loop through all of the animals. I use a for each loop, and our, where's our barn header file? Barn header file has a vector, or actually no, I switched it because the rubric says arrays, so I used an array, and the array is a pointer array, and even though arrays are just pointers, this is the way I think the rubric wanted us to define it, so I defined it that way. So cool, we go through, we just do a dynamic cast, and this is where we're using our polymorphism, and that's because we are casting basically the animal, which is the superclass, to the subclass type of cow. And when we cast it to the subclass, well, dynamic cast it to the subclass type of cow, we're able to then call the eat method from cow rather than from the superclass. So same thing here, same thing here. And then these were just cases I made for no type and for default. It's not really necessary. I think I actually ended up making the no type because I was debugging something. It's not technically necessary, but I mean, I guess it's okay, nice to have there for scalability. And then we just say if get weight is greater than or equal to top weight, then we're putting them out to pasture and we're giving them new IDs. And then for the replacing, we go through them again. I guess that's a bit redundant. I probably could have found a way to combine these two, but I think for the scope of this, that's fine. So cool, we just go through them again, and then basically we go through for each type, and then we give it a new name because we're replacing the ones that went out to pasture. And from there, we just say, okay, array I is equal to 0, and re-referencing that. Cool, so animal get name, okay, and then we're just outputting. So yeah, all of our classes just represented by headers and CPP files. I'm not really going to go over the logic of each class too much just because we already went over that in the last animal farm video, and not much has changed besides what I described. And just running through it. Cool, welcome to the barn, enter to continue. And then you see, hi, now we're feeding the animals, blah, blah, blah. Mandy the horse went out to pasture, Anthony went out to pasture, Otis went out to pasture. So he went out to pasture and he got replaced with newest Nay Boy, newest Clucky Boy, and newest Moo Boy. And then going over the communication of solution, well, that's this video, so hopefully it's not too bad. When the barn feeds the animal, it must check to see if the animal is at. Okay, we did that. When you finish, create video. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.